In Noida's Sector 25, Aarushi Talwar was seen at her home in her room's bed, drenched with blood. Her neck was completely ripped off, but on her bed there was no wrinkle. So what had actually happened? Just one day before this incident, 13-year-old Aarushi Talwar was excitedly planning her birthday, along with her friends and parents. On one side, her friends were organizing a party for her, and on the other side, her parents were going to buy a new camera for her. But who knew that Aarushi Talwar herself would not be present on her birthday? What had happened on the night of 15th May? Was it a suicide or a murder? And how can someone kill a 13-year-old brutally? If all these questions are also popping in your mind, then make sure to watch this video till the end. Staying in Noida's Sector 25, Aarushi Talwar was born on 24th May 1994. And if we talk about Aarushi's daily life, then she used to leave every morning for her school. And both her parents, her mom and dad, were both dentists. Nupur and Rajesh would leave for their clinic. Till late afternoon, everyone would come home and would have their lunch together. And they were a happy family. But on 16th May 2008, things happened a bit differently. That day, like every other day, at 6 a.m., the maid working at Aarushi's home rang the bell. Usually that door used to open at one bell, but that day, after ringing the bell 2 or 3 times, Nupur Talwar opened that door. After opening that wooden door, she saw that there was another net door that was locked. That is why Nupur went to the balcony and threw the keys down so that her maid Bharti could enter the house. Bharti felt weird seeing all this because after ringing the bell every day, her home servant Hemraj would open the door. But that day he wasn't present at the house. Bharti's suspicion that something is wrong in that house became stronger when she saw that Rajesh, who was Aarushi's father, he was awake at that time and was crying loudly. Now when Bharti asked Nupur that why was Rajesh crying so much, then Nupur pointed towards Aarushi's room and said that look what Hemraj had done, and he ran away. Now when Bharti reached Aarushi's room, she stood there like a statue because she saw the dead body of Aarushi lying on the bed, and on her neck there were signs of slitting with a knife. After seeing all this, she quickly called the doctor and informed the neighbors about all this. Now at 7:17 a.m. when the police were called. At that time, the Talwars and many of their relatives were already present. Now, because so many people were already present there, all fingerprints and other proof had been destroyed, and there wasn't any proof that the police could get. The police started to investigate the whole house, and that's when they found out that there was a lock on the terrace, in which there were many marks of blood. Now it's obvious that after seeing that, the police asked for the key to the lock. But everyone was confused that where actually is the key to the lock. And at that time, Aarushi's father, Rajesh, was telling the police that they are wasting their time because he was very sure that their servant Hemraj has done all this. Now, because Rajesh was suspicious about Hemraj, police had started the investigation of Hemraj and announced a price of rupees 25,000 on finding him. Now, on one side, when the Noida police had left for Nepal to find Hemraj, on the other side, Aarushi's parents had left for Haridwar to carry away the ashes. But in Noida, at their home, something was revealed, after which, listening to, everyone was shocked. This was such a revelation that now the suspicion of Aarushi's murder had shifted from Hemraj to Aarushi's parents. But what happened? When retired police officers and doctors reached Rajesh and Nupur Talwar's home to ask them how they were doing, at that time they saw that there was blood on the lock of the terrace. and on the ground there were spots of blood, like some dead body was dragged from there. And because the key to the lock wasn't being found, that lock was broken, and just as the police entered the terrace, there they saw a dead body. The condition of that dead body was so bad that identifying it was almost impossible. Drenched in blood, the neck ripped off, and deep wounds on the whole body. The condition of the body was really bad, and nobody was ready to even see that body. After seeing the spots of blood there, it was final that this was the body that was dragged and brought to the terrace. That is why Aarushi's parents were quickly called from Haridwar. When Rajesh Talwar was asked to identify this body, he clearly refused. After the police pressured him, finally Rajesh identified that body. That body was of Hemraj, the servant. The whole police team and Aarushi's parents, who were investigating the person from Noida to Nepal, was nowhere else, but was found dead on that home's terrace itself. Don't you think that this is a well-thought plan where the police was misled, not giving the key to the lock to the police and refusing to identify that body, even after knowing all the proof, hiding them from the police? All these points towards one thing, that the murderer was no one else but Aarushi's parents. But before we conclude anything, let's get to know that what had actually happened that night. That night, like every day, Aarushi had dinner with her parents, Nupur and Rajesh. Hemraj had served the food, and after eating the food, Aarushi went to her room as well as her parents. Then Rajesh and Nupur went to Aarushi's room, and as a birthday gift, they gifted her a digital camera. After seeing that camera, Aarushi was very happy, and that is why she happily clicked some pictures there. According to a record by CBI, it is known that the last photo from that camera was clicked at 10 p.m. and at 11 p.m. Aarushi's parents went out of her room and went to their room, and after that Aarushi was reading her novel. After coming to their room, Rajesh told Nupur that he wanted to do some work on the laptop. So he asked Aarushi's mom to go to Aarushi's room and switch on the Wi-Fi router. Nupur did that, and that night Aarushi was awake till late night and was talking to her friends on calls and texts. But according to the reports of CBI, Aarushi's phone was not available after 9:10 p.m. That is why at 12:30 p.m. her friend Anmol called on their landline. No one picked up that call. That is why he also sent a text to Aarushi, but that text was never delivered. Rajesh was also working on his laptop at that time because his last sent email was at 11:57 p.m. and after that maybe he had slept. But as per the CBI report, at 3:45 a.m. someone switched off the Wi-Fi router in Aarushi's room. So who was this person who had gone to Aarushi's room so late at night? Because Aarushi's room was often locked, and the key to that room was on Nupur's light table. But Nupur told the police that at that night she didn't remember if she locked the door or not. Reports say that Hemraj and Aarushi were both killed at around 1 a.m. So this person who had entered the room late at night to switch off the Wi-Fi router, did they not see Aarushi's body? Or this person was the murderer himself? The next day, the key to the terrace and apartment was found in Nupur's room, and the key to Aarushi's room was found in the living room. So did someone have an extra set of keys? And if yes, then who had it? So after all this, the suspicion was pointing toward the Talwars. Before the police came, they hid all the proof, and by calling their servants, floors, windows, and doors were clearly cleaned. And apart from this, something very weird had happened, and it was that starting from 3 a.m. to 6 a.m., from Rajesh's phone, his older brother Dinesh was called, and at the same time from Dinesh's phone, his family friend Sushil was called. And after that, Sushil called a retired police officer, Gautam, and from Gautam's phone an unidentified number was called. And this happened in a loop of 6 times. But how was all this possible? Because on one side Rajesh was grieving about his daughter's death, and on the other side, in a loop of 6, calls were being made. Well, according to one of the theories, it is said that Rajesh caught his daughter Aarushi and his servant doing some sexual activities together, and in anger he murdered both of them. And those calls were being made so that they can remove sexual activities from Aarushi's autopsy's report. On the basis of this theory, the police arrested Rajesh Talwar on 23rd May. But because there was no solid evidence, he immediately got bail. And according to one article, this theory comes forward that Rajesh Talwar had an external marital affair. And when Aarushi confronted Rajesh, at that time Rajesh took Aarushi's life. Now, this was final that in all this chaos, the family was involved because someone from the outside came to their house. The police didn't get any proof of that. In 2010, the CBI gave this case to some other team, and in 2011, this case had reopened again. That is why on 11 May 2011, Aarushi's parents Rajesh and Nupur had to go to the court, and their opponent gave this explanation of the chaos. That night Rajesh heard a voice. That is why he took a golf stick and went to Aarushi's room. And just as he reached there, he saw that Hemraj and Aarushi were indulged in sexual activities. And after throwing the golf stick, he started hitting Hemraj. But by mistake, that golf stick went towards Aarushi. And when Rajesh checked her pulse, she was dead. And so that no one can know about this, that is why he also murdered the one and only witness, Hemraj, on the spot. In November 2013, this case finally reopened, and Aarushi's parents, Rajesh and Nupur, were given a life sentence. Everyone thought that the 13-year-old daughter had finally gotten justice. But in 2017, Aarushi's parents were released because no direct evidence of them had been found, and now they are roaming freely. Aarushi's parents still blame the police and say that the police ruined this whole investigation. Till now, this case hasn't been fully solved. Even after 9 years of hard work, those 2 innocent lives haven't got justice. And all the mistakes that were made by the police is because of the pressure of the media. So whose mistake was it? The police, media, or Aarushi's parents? What do you think about this case? Do let us know in the comment section below.